Imagine you haven't eaten in 2 days. You know exactly where the herd is. Yesterday, you followed their tracks, memorized their route, and all that's left is to reach them. Then the sky turns dark. A violent rainstorm crashes down. Not a light shower, but relentless rain driven by powerful winds. It pours all day, all night, and it's still raining the next morning. Every track has been washed away. You have no idea where the animals went. Walking across wet rocks barefoot could mean a twisted ankle. And 50,000 years ago, a twisted ankle in the wild was often a death sentence. The river beside your camp is rising, but that's not your biggest problem. Your fire is. The one thing keeping you warm, cooking your food, lighting the darkness, and keeping predators away is slowly dying. You're not bored? You're trapped. Today, when it rains, we stay indoors, make a cup of coffee, grab a blanket, and watch Netflix. Rain feels peaceful. But for a human living 50,000 years ago, that very same rain could kill you in 3 different ways. First came the cold. A wet body loses heat up to 25 times faster than a dry one. Without warm clothing or waterproof shelter, hypothermia could set in within hours. Then came flooding. Most people lived in caves or rock shelters near rivers and hillsides. Heavy rain could turn those safe shelters into deadly flood traps. And finally, predators. Rain forced lions, leopards, and hyenas into shelter too. Sometimes the cave protecting you was the very same cave they had chosen. Rain didn't just make life harder, it forced humans, prey, and predators into the same small, dry spaces. And in that moment, one job mattered more than anything else: keeping the fire alive. Because if the fire died, there was a very good chance you would die with it. But keeping a fire alive wasn't nearly as easy as it sounds today. If your fire goes out now, you grab a lighter or strike a match. 50,000 years ago, there was no second chance. What's even more surprising is that scientists still aren't completely sure whether early humans could reliably start a fire from scratch. We know they controlled fire at least 400,000 years ago, and some evidence suggests it may go back nearly 1,000,000 years. But maintaining an existing fire and creating a new one were two very different skills. For most of human history, many people probably couldn't do the second. That meant losing your fire wasn't just inconvenient, it could be fatal. Some groups carried glowing embers wherever they traveled. They wrapped them in fresh green leaves or stored them inside a special fungus called tinder fungus, which could smolder for hours. It was essentially nature's first lighter. We know this wasn't just theory. When scientists discovered Ötzi the Iceman, a 5,300-year-old man preserved in the Alps, they found a complete fire kit in his pouch: tinder fungus, flint, iron pyrite, and dry plant fibers. Even 5,000 years ago, people treated fire as something too valuable to lose. So when heavy rain arrived, protecting the fire became the group's highest priority. They moved it deeper into the cave, shielded it with animal hides and branches, searched for dry wood beneath dense trees, split open wet logs to reach the dry wood inside, and used birch bark because it could ignite even when damp. Sometimes one person's only job was to sit beside that fire for hours, feeding it, protecting it, and making sure it never went out, because that fire was everything. It gave warmth, light, cooked food, protection from predators, and a place where the entire group gathered. It wasn't just a tool, it was the center of their world. And once the fire was safe, people didn't sit around doing nothing. They got to work. Inside the cave, they shaped stone tools, repaired old weapons, and crafted new spears for the next hunt. Archaeologists have uncovered millions of tiny stone flakes inside ancient caves, the leftovers from hours of tool-making beside the fire. But they made more than weapons. In Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists discovered a 100,000-year-old workshop where people ground red ochre into powder, mixed it inside abalone shells, and used bone tools to prepare pigment. They weren't just surviving anymore, they were planning, experimenting, and creating. And maybe that was rain's greatest gift. It forced people to stop, and when they stopped, they finally had time to think, to learn, and to build the future with their own hands. But the story doesn't end there. When endless rain made hunting impossible, early humans didn't just sit around waiting for the storm to end. They used that time to create inventions that would change the future. One of those inventions was the bone needle. Archaeologists in South Africa have discovered bone needles dating back nearly 61,000 years. These delicate tools required patience, precision, and hours of careful work, something you could only do when you were safe inside. Then came one of humanity's greatest inventions: rope. The oldest evidence of twisted plant fiber string dates back about 52,000 years, and later people even carved special tools to make stronger rope. That simple invention changed everything. Rope helped build shelters, make hunting traps, secure weapons, and carry heavy loads. It's hard to imagine civilization without it. Humans also made their shelters more comfortable. At Sibudu Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found 77,000-year-old grass bedding, carefully layered with insect-repelling plants. They even replaced the bedding regularly to keep it clean. Early humans weren't just surviving anymore, they were improving the way they lived. And then came something even more incredible: art. Deep inside Chauvet Cave in France, 36,000-year-old paintings of lions, horses, rhinos, and bears still amaze scientists today. These weren't simple sketches. They were masterpieces created from memory by the light of a small fire, proving that creativity has always been part of being human. Those paintings weren't near the cave entrance. They were hidden deep inside complete darkness, where artists carried small animal fat lamps to reach them. We can't say for sure they painted during rainy days, but long storms gave people something priceless: time to imagine, create, and leave a legacy. Rain also brought people together. Families gathered around the fire, teaching children how to hunt, find water, recognize safe plants, and survive. Over time, those lessons became stories, songs, and traditions. Long before books existed, knowledge was passed from one generation to the next through storytelling. And when the rain finally stopped, everything changed. Fresh animal tracks covered the soft ground, mushrooms appeared, roots became easier to dig, and insects like termites provided easy protein. Rain didn't end survival, it created new opportunities. So what did ancient humans do when it rained all day? They protected the fire, they built tools, they stitched clothing, they made rope, they created art, they shared stories. And when the storm was over, they walked back into the world stronger, smarter, and better prepared than ever before. Maybe that's the biggest lesson from our ancestors. They didn't waste bad days. They used them to build a better tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next adventure. See you in the next video.